You've mentioned dark times a few times now. How do you individually mentally recharge being responsible for so many people as the leader of Finder.com and also for yourself as an entrepreneur, just dealing with the day-to-day and you know, the highs and the lows?
You know, I've been through quite a few dark times, and I remember I went and saw a psychologist once, and I sat with her and I said, I'm just not really up for anything. She's like, well, why don't you just do one thing and then feel good about that, and then the next day do two things, you know, that you like or enjoy, and the next day do three things, and you just get a little tiny bit of momentum. And that spiraled me, you know, because the spiral can go down. It spiraled me back up, and I was like, okay. And I think that's one place you can get to when you're really down. Then I think there's where you lose your way. Like, you need to go and find yourself. And I think in order to find myself, and I've had to do this many, many times, the key thing I've done is switch off inputs and go and do something that you don't normally do, and do it by yourself. Because when you're by yourself, so normally I go running and I'll run by myself. I don't have any music. I don't run with other people. That's my time. And a lot of people, you know, they're in the shower, you know, oh, in the shower I get all these ideas. I'm like, for me, I can't handle the shower. The shower is a very intense place. It's like lots of chaos going on in there. It's not my space. I need like isolation, my own thoughts, and something I'm doing for myself. Because when you go and do it by yourself, you go, hey, I'm pretty good at that. And that leads you to, oh, I'm actually really good at that. And then leads you to an analogous thought, which is kind of lateral. And you re-find yourself. You go, hey, I'm actually really good at that. And you go, hey, let's go and do a bit more of that. And that leads to something else. And you realize, hey, maybe those other things which weren't working so well, you know, I was getting lots of fights, lots of conflicts, you know, people were leaving, all these bad things were happening. Hey, in this area, people love me when I do that, you know, and other people feel great about it as well. Let's go and do more of that. And that's about listening to yourself, and that's a hard thing to do, and really hearing that voice. The other thing, you know, I think that's close by that is that if you wake up enough times in a row and go, I just don't want to go and do this, that's the point where I think you go, okay, that's the point I realize, whoa, I'm not feeling so good about this. I need to pause and just have a think, you know, where are we going as a company? Because as an entrepreneur, that's the one thing, you get to choose that, right? I don't like working with these people. Hey, that's your choice. You hired those people. You know, these are the kind of things you want to think through. And I think in those moments, those kind of things have helped me. Another thing I tend to do is just watch inspirational stuff. So I just, you know, get a really inspiring video and I watch it and I go, wow, look at that. That's incredible, that one thing. And it'll make me cry. And I don't know if you have this problem, but airplanes, for me, I just cry at least 3 to 4 times more often than when you're on the land. I don't know, it must be the air or something.
Watching movies, right?
Yeah, watching a movie, like, it's just, I'm going. Like, the lady serving me food, I'm like, I'll have the chicken, you know, like, and she's like, oh, you okay? I'm fine. Like, this is great. Thank you for serving me chicken. Just a minute, I just got to, you know, and I think those are the moments when it's really affected you, that there's something there, right? That's a truth inside yourself that if you go back to and open up, there's genius in there. There's something in there about you that you should go back and look at and keep doing. And that's normally where I go and reinvent myself. And normally, you know, those conversations happen. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather do this. People go, thank you. Thank you for not doing that anymore, because that'll help everyone, you know. And I think those are they're actually there. It's just you haven't. I'm going to say this in a direct way. It's you haven't got over your personal ego to deal with that situation. So your ego is actually blocking you from opening up and allowing yourself to change, because you feel you lose your identity, you lose your you know. It's part of you, and then when your role changes as an entrepreneur, as the company scales, you have to go and reinvent yourself. And I'd actually say, and I'm going to put this is very vulnerable again, we're sharing today.
We are.
I'm actually coming out of one of these right now. I'm actually on the up. I hit really low over the holidays. I was like, over the last, say, 3 months, I was pretty down. I had to refine myself again. I just got lost, and because the things I was doing just were becoming less effective, and I was just like, this isn't right, something's wrong here. And I'd say I'm sort of actually in the moment of I'd say I'm phoenixing right now. So it's very pertinent you asked that question.
I think it's wonderful that you can be so open about that journey and about the fact that you do have dark times, and that you've recently hit a low for you, because a lot of people see you splashed along, every single media coverage. There's AFR, Young Rich List. Look at Fred. Fred's got an amazing life. But they don't actually get to see that, hey, there's a lot that goes into that. There's the highs and then there's the lows, and you're willing to share those. I mean, I recently interviewed somebody else, and we talked about trolls, online trolls, and somebody in the media, and they talked about seeing a psychologist. And I still think as a society, like, there's a stigma around saying, hey, I'm not okay. I actually see a psychologist once a month just to keep me in check. So I love that you could share that with us today, and that's something that you do, because I think it's really important for entrepreneurs, and not just for entrepreneurs, but for people in general.
You're exactly right. I think I actually see it as a business problem, in that what eventually happens in a company is the rate limiting factor of the growth of the company becomes the founder. If the founder can't emotionally deal with where the company needs to go and it's going to push it, then the founder actively, openly sabotages the company. Willingly or not, you don't realize you're doing this, but you're too scared to go and experience, whether it's trolls, whether it's more competitors, whether it's a new country, whether it's a new language, or whatever it is that's deep down troubling you, you will actively sabotage and avoid that. And so I think you're exactly right. I think being comfortable and open with that, I just see it as a business problem. Eventually, you're going to hit the level of emotional maturity that you have developed yourself, and you need more coaching to go further.